Hey everybody, it's Cody Barnett, Bodyworks Physical Therapy and Concussion Center, and I'm joined today by Dr. Damian Heiser.
Hello.
And we are talking today about a really common problem, L4-5 or L5S1, disc bulge, disc herniation, that sort of thing, and what you can do about it to solve it without having to go through surgery. So Dr. Damian, you want to share a little bit about this problem and what it means and what it looks like?
Yeah, so, if we pull out our spine model here, it might be difficult to see from the back here, but if we look at the front, these little white discs you see in between each of the bones, so those are the discs of our back. And sometimes what can happen for a lot of varying different reasons is these discs will herniate, or they'll protrude in between the bones of our back, pushing out backwards towards your back. And what can happen is sometimes these can put some pressure on the nerves that come out of our low back. And sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. Sometimes they can cause us problems, and sometimes we can go on through life without ever knowing that we have one of these things going on. So, they're super, super common. Most people, as you age and as you get older, MRIs are finding that it's normal for people to have these sort of things going on, and they don't have any symptoms with it. They don't have any pain. But sometimes people have these going on, and sometimes they do have symptoms that look like a lumbar disc herniation, for instance. And things that we'll see when that happens maybe is, back pain is something that can happen. But we might see changes in sensation in your legs or in your back, or maybe you start to notice, hey, my right leg doesn't feel as strong as the left one does anymore, or, I'm noticing that my foot's not moving quite so well. And then we might even see that there's some changes in reflexes as well associated with that. If, went to your doctor and they took that little hammer and maybe hit you underneath your kneecap or behind your ankle, maybe your reflexes have changed a little bit. So, that gives clues to us as clinicians and practitioners that, hey, maybe there's some sort of change associated with this disc herniation. But there's good news still with that, and it doesn't mean you have to be rushed to your orthopedic doctor or neurosurgeon and be put on the operating table. In fact, conservative care works really, really well for that sort of a thing. And truthfully, sometimes patience is just a key in terms of recovery with that. A lot of disc herniations have potential to heal on their own. Or in terms of the symptoms associated with them, those can get better over time with conservative care like physical therapy, for instance.
So statistically, by the time we're age 30, all of us have at least one bulging disc or some beginning arthritis in our spine. So the way I describe that to people is sort of like gray hair. We all, over time, we get glasses or we get gray hair, that sort of thing. Well, all of us will have some of this going in on our spine. And so the question is if that's the case, then for a lot of us, we can go through a lot of our lives without having any problems. Others of us, we might have pain in our lower back. For example, when we bend over to pick something up, you might get some pain in the rear end. You might get some pain down into the leg. You might have some muscle spasms that keeps you from moving normally. And so common things we'll hear from patients that come into the office is stuff like, it bothers me when I empty the dishwasher. It bothers me when I try to play with the kids. It bothers me when I try to exercise. It'll bother me with prolonged sitting, prolonged standing, those types of things. And all of those things are very treatable and respond really, really well to care that doesn't involve surgery and doesn't involve injections in most cases. So in rare cases, there are times when we have to refer people to a surgeon or something like that. But by and large, the majority of the time, it's very, very treatable and definitely something that can be helped. So as far as if a person is struggling, is suffering with something like this, some options are, we do have an ebook that we have available that is called 9 Ways That You Can Have a Healthy Pain-Free Back. We'd love for you to check that out. We'll put a link to download that in the comments or description. So we'll have that for you. And in terms of other therapy related things, there's a lot of things that we can do from a hands-on perspective, a lot of things that we can teach you to do from an exercise perspective that quite frankly you don't need to live with this. Like, there's lots and lots of people out there that just live with it every day, and they kind of say, well, this is just the way it is, and oh, I'm old and this is just what I've got to live with and that's just the way it is. And the reality is there's hope. You don't have to be living with this stuff if you don't have to.
Right. Or they might think that, there's no hope for me at this point. And there's not a practitioner who can help me with this, because my disc is herniated, which, there's tons of hope. There's lots of people who can help. And, it doesn't have to be something that you're suffering with continuously here. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. So if you have questions, feel free, download that ebook. We also like to talk on the phone, so feel free to call us 316-558-8808, or we've got more information on our webpage, on our blog page, and so forth. You're welcome to check that out at bodyworksphysicaltherapy.net. So thank you for joining us. Until next time, Cody Barnett, physical therapist.
Damian Heiser, physical therapist.
And we'll see you next time. Thanks.
Thank you.